subscribe our channel, stay till the end of the stories for more twist and turn. Comment us about what kind of stories you like to hear. My 24 male, fiancé 24 female, slept with our married neighbor, 22 male, while we were briefly separated for only a week. Okay, so my fiancé and I have been together for 3 years, got engaged last October. We bought our first house together in March through blood, sweat, hard work, and a lot of tears. Our neighbors are a young married couple. He's a jobless 22-year-old and she's 20, paying all their bills. Also they have a 3-month-old boy. They rent the place across from us, so we see each other often and have drank with them a handful of times since March. My fiancé is brutally honest and can tend to be quite vindictive, manipulative. So one morning I came early, right before she came. I always make it a point that she comes first, always, so I fucked up during sex that morning. She then told me that we were disengaged, as I was leaving for work, and that she was inviting some random guy over for sex. I unfortunately lost my shit and flipped a chair and was yelling that that was unfair and that human beings make mistakes. I then left for work. Came home to find that she had gone around to all of our neighbors telling them that I had threatened to strike her. I have never threatened her ever. Also, she never had anyone over to have sex that day. Move on to a few days later. We're getting along, trying to be mature about the whole thing. I kept telling her that she was lying to everyone about what had happened, but she kept brushing it off. We kept talking just fine, while separated in our house that we own together, talking about what we are going to do about selling the home. Later that day we start drinking and she comes on to me hardcore. I said I wasn't interested, especially after she lied to everybody saying I threatened her. I pass out in the guest bedroom where I've been sleeping since the disengagement. 3 days later, she tells me that if we got back together our relationship would be a lot better, we'd start over and she'd respect me for who I am and not lie, be disrespectful or vindictive anymore. She was crying, saying she loved me and that she made a huge mistake by breaking up. I told her I couldn't do it right now, I couldn't commit to her, and that I had to think about it. 2 days later she comes home from her job and I was ready, absolutely about starting over with the premise that trust as a foundation is everything. I take her back and give her the ring back. Later that day she confesses to me that the night she came on to me hardcore, after I passed out, the married neighbor guy came over and they had sex in his car. My fiancé told me she cried after they had sex and called her mom to tell her she made a drunken mistake. I was naturally hurt. No violence, just caught up inside, appalled at the thought that just a few days ago my fiancé, the love of my fucking life, was intimate with the neighbor boy. After some time I told my fiancé that the neighbor's wife had to know, so I texted her telling her what had happened. She literally texted back saying awesome, thank you. That's it. About an hour later I approached my fiancé saying that I appreciate her honesty and that I expect a lot of changes in the relationship like we had agreed upon when I took her back earlier that day. A week later, I'm still pretty shook about the whole situation. We are getting along great, but I still feel like I might have made a mistake. Was it right for me that I took her back? Am I a fool? You are worse than a fool. You're a straight-up dumbass doormat. Look around the house, see if you can find your spine and your self-respect. Hint, look in her purse because it sounds like you handed both of them over to her at some point, and tell her to get her trashy, cheating, vindictive ass out of your life. Then get therapy to help you maintain your self-worth in future relationships. Yay, don't take her back. For one thing, she tried to ruin your reputation by spewing a massive lie about you. She gaslights you. She decides to homewreck a family because she is a selfish, vindictive person that has absolutely no morals. What kind of person fucks someone else across the street from where their significant other is? A trash human being, that's who. Take out the trash. If her name is on the house you'll have to get that figured out in court. Do not marry her, and definitely do not take her back. Also, after you took her back, did she admit to everyone she told the lie to that she lied? Probably not. I am at a loss here. Why would anyone want to stay in this? What is there to gain? What are the benefits? Yes, you would be the fool, and I don't say that to berate you. There is no value in keeping her after you've seen her true character come out. She cheated on you with a married guy, your neighbor. The amount of disrespect in that alone should make you run for fear of the future of your own relationship. She also sounds unstable, using sex as a tool of manipulation, negotiation. Then acting like no big deal. Edit, didn't even address how she lied on you. That could have gotten you in serious legal and domestic trouble simply because of her lies. Run. I, 30 male, am not sure if I can trust my wife, 28 female. 1 week ago I found out my wife was emotionally, virtually cheating on me in a sexual context. I found out by taking her phone in the middle of the night while she was sleeping. I found messages on her phone and learned she was sexting this person, no photos, just text, and talking non-stop for days in an intimate manner. I've never snooped on her phone prior to this in our 4 years together, but there were many signs that something was wrong. She was distant physically, tilted her phone screen away from me when nearby, always kept her phone close, always kept it face down, etc. I confronted her the very next day and told her I knew everything. I was very upfront about how this hurt me and that it would create trust issues and how if she ever did this again I would leave her. We agreed to reduce contact back with this person to a friendship basis. No contact would have been ideal, that is what I originally wanted. She was insistent that this fling meant nothing and it would not be a problem to remove the intimate aspects of their relationship. She feels this person is a motivating factor in her pursuing in her field, something which she has been struggling with. I'm not happy about this, but I agreed to it, yet it still makes me uncomfortable. We discussed that if I wanted to, I could read their messages. I haven't asked to date. Fast forward to today, it hasn't been easy. We've had good days and bad days this past week. I've been moderately depressed due to this incident and other unrelated reasons, loss of a hobby, uncertainty about my work situation, but we feel close some days, distant in others. When we were working through it, she made sort of an effort to repair, but I feel like she really hasn't made much of an effort for me to feel secure. I've told her how I feel unsure, I've told her it wasn't something I couldn't get over immediately, in effort to describe how it has affected me. At the least, she faces her phone upwards now, occasionally leaves it laying out in the open as not to be secretive. It feels kind of like progress. But one thing has been constant in my mind, and that is that I'm still unsure if I can really trust her. We've never had trust issues in the past. I've never snooped on her phone prior to this incident. We've always shared passwords yet respected boundaries knowing that we could trust each other, so we didn't really need to look. With this incident, that has changed for me. I spend time thinking about if she is still hiding something. This morning, I couldn't help myself and tried to unlock her phone when she was in the shower. I am not proud of it, but felt as though I could justify it because I have a very real reason for not trusting her at this point in time. I found that she has changed the passcode to her phone, which shocked me. She hasn't changed her passcode in the entire 4+ years we've been together. Obviously, my immediate thought is that she has more to hide and is only feigning trust by leaving her phone out. What's the risk if I could pick up her phone but be unable to find anything? Is what my mind tells me she could think. One could think that she values her privacy and thinks I could snoop again, but why change the code if there's nothing to hide? After 4 years, changing her code now after just being caught lying a week before seems too convenient to be a coincidence. TL, Doctor, am I overreacting? Or should I trust my wife? You gave her permission to continue a relationship with the person she cheated on you with. Now she's changed her password so you can't see what they're saying. A sexting relationship is full-on cheating, so she shouldn't have contact with him whatsoever. I caught my husband in a similar sexting relationship a few months ago. I have his passwords for everything now and we're in couples therapy. I am still not sure if we will work this out. Sorry you're going through this. Did your husband show remorse? Is that why you are still giving it a chance? I guess the fact that she was so quick to quit focusing on my comfort and insecurity in a time where I was so obviously betrayed has forced me to believe that this is really someone who can't be trusted. Like literally the same day, she was already thinking of herself in this situation. Maybe she's a narcissist. Yeah, only a week later? Definitely shady and you have every right to feel this way. Also I don't buy the still being friends thing. You don't go from talking like that and then suddenly cutting it off. Sorry. I definitely think you should talk to her about this and see what the problem is between the two of you that brought you here. Talk about your utter loss of trust. And see if there's a way you can both get past this. But be firm, she's in the wrong here, so don't let her dictate terms like we'll just go back to being friends. I don't know how to get back the trust though. With smartphones, the internet, different apps. It's so easy to hide that kind of thing. I mean, they make apps just for that. If it were me, she'd have to really make some changes and forego some privacy, at least for the foreseeable future. Thank you. I will be firm. I was the first time, but clearly somewhere along the way I let my feelings cloud my judgment and thought about our relationship and changed my feelings. I made it clear that if this happened again I was leaving her for real. If she decided to continue things, I won't hold back a second time and end things. I don't need someone who will lie to my fucking face. I tried to be a strong person and give her another chance, but if she really cares that little then I have no reason to keep trying. Obviously, I still need to confront her first, but in hindsight to my post and what I'm realizing now, locking their phone in a situation like this is pretty damning evidence on its own. Thanks for listening so far. If story have an update, we will post here. Like, subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.